The Packers head out on the road to face the Cardinals on Sunday, and Micah Parsons is hoping to get a fair whistle from the referees. Parsons sounded off after practice yesterday on how defenses are officiated. Take a listen.
5 years they're not going to call, you'll eventually stop worrying about it. They don't call sides for offense, but they'll call on defense. They won't call offensive pass interference, but they'll call defensive pass interference immediately. Like, we know what they're trying to do. They want to load the points up so fans can be happy, and they'll call defensive holding, but they won't call offensive holding. Like let's just wake up.
Cam, you agree with Micah Parsons?
Yes, Micah. But what's good for business, though? Do you want to see a 10-7 football game, or would you want to see a 37-34 knockdown drag out? I mean, it is what it is, but I don't think that that's what goes into officiating. What you have to really look at is who has an unfair advantage. It's disappointing when you see how hard it is to be an actual cornerback in this league. That's tough, right? Hey, it's disappointing to see how can you really stop the tush push. It's tough, but you got to get over it. Micah Parsons has been in this league and understood the deficiencies that he may deem as deficient, but it's still good for business. When offenses is exploding on the scoreboard, that's what we want to see as fans.
So are you saying that let's not be critical of officiating because it's good for business when the offense is favored over the defense?
What I am saying is, let them play, coach. Let them play.
No, you know what he's saying? He's saying because I said so. You remember back in the day, you do something and your mama would tell you not to do it.
That's right.
And then you would be like, well, why, mama? Because I said so. That's exactly what Cam is telling the defense. He's saying, yes, it is unfair. Yes, all of the rules do benefit the offense. You know what happens when something happens to a guy like a Cam Newton, a Tom Brady, or one of the top quarterbacks in the league, a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen? A new rule is made. You know why you can't hit quarterbacks low? Because Tom Brady missed the season. Do you know if you get into the pocket and the quarterback is throwing the ball and you attempt to block the football or knock it down or tip it and you just graze his pretty little helmet, you know what happens? They get 15 more yards and they got a first down. Micah Parsons is rushing the quarterback last week, literally trying to get to Joe Flacco. He got a hand around his neck. He getting clotheslined. Dude got a hand all the way on his other shoulder. His shoulder pad sitting on top of his ear hole. And you know what happened, Stephen A? Nothing. Not a damn thing. You know why? Because as long as the offense scores, now everybody can watch Jackson Dart dance in the end zone.
Let me throw this at you because my man Ray Lewis, he broke this down because you know how he get when he start whispering. Stephen A. You know, he starts whispering, right? And that's when he's getting intense, even more intense, right? Like, we men. And I'm going like this. I got that, Ray, but why you always walking around acting like you know what, you threw up your hands and somebody else got to in the same, and this mano and mano, and that's it. If a quarterback is standing there throwing the pass, he's defenseless, essentially. It ain't like he up there against you. So I'm like, when you talk about somebody, you bring up Tom Brady getting hit low. I don't have a problem with a rule that don't want you to hit a cat in the knees or lower if you're in the quarterback position. If you can go from the knees up, I don't have a problem with that because, damn, you throwing the damn football. It ain't like you getting the face up against the defender.
What about, so I got to tackle you, and when you fall into the ground, why I got to stop, drop, and roll all the way off of you? Because if I fall,
that's part. And I have a little extra on the part. I mean, he can act.
Yeah,
don't do that. Because if the petty Cam is really trying to insert himself in this thing. I was like, hold on, who got them calls? I didn't get them calls. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait, what was these rules when I was playing? You know what I mean?
Right.
But the thing about it is given, I played on the offense. It's given you played on the defense. Now let's go to a person that watches it and covers it for a long time. Stephen A. When you watch game film, whether basketball, in this case football, would you not want to see a high-scoring game?
Absolutely would. You're absolutely right. You want more offense because you're bored by just the defensive battle. That much is true. But I do think at times it's been a bit excessively in favor of offenses. There is a line not to cross. It's a little bit too much in this day and age.
But Cam, the other point is this, though. Like, we've watched games that were defensive battles or that were back and forth games where the offense won one, the defense won one. And those games are fun, right? Like, when we think back to the Cincinnati Los Angeles Rams Super Bowl in 2021, that game wasn't just explosively high scoring, but when we get to the end of the football game and we see the no look to Cooper Kupp and then Aaron Donald finishes with a pressure, that's excitement. Right? It's supposed to be parity. It's supposed to be an opportunity for both sides of the ball to have a chance to excel. And I think the more rules that we get and the more quote-unquote fun that we're attempting to have, we're taking the physicality, we're taking the mano-a-mano, we're taking the gladiator out of a sport that people watch because they can't do the things that you used to be able to do.
Yeah, but when you're talking about Super Bowls, I did not win one, obviously. I can hear the comments now. But when I look at the LA Rams versus the Patriots, I don't want to see that Super Bowl. I want to see the Patriots versus.
That was one of the worst Super Bowls.
It was low scoring.
Come on, 13-3.
But that was also more bad offense than it was great defense.
No, bad offense is good defense. You know what I'm saying? But the Patriots versus the Falcons and the marvel after Tom Brady's greatness, that's what cemented his legacy. But this is the only issue that I have in regards to officiating is, does it impact the game? Does it impact the game at the end of the game where it's like, okay, the other team could not recover from it? The one that sticks out the most, and I'm drawing a blank, but Dez Bryant's
the catch.
Yes. Against Green Bay playoffs.
It's one of them things like, oh my God, like that impacted the pass interference call, for the New Orleans Saints. So those type of calls, they have to take the time to really make the right call because when you don't, certain things happen.
I would just tell you from a fan's perspective, that was a bad example to bring up Dez Bryant against the Green Bay Packers because that led to so much misery for Cowboy fans, which made me very happy. Help is on the way for the Cowboys this Sunday as CeeDee Lamb is set to return against the Commanders. The Pro Bowl wide receiver has missed the last 3 games with a high left ankle sprain. How dangerous does Lamb's return make the Cowboys, Cam? And what advice do you have for Dak Prescott and the group?
Man, it's simple. Do not allow talent to dictate where the football goes. I will say it again. Do not allow talent to dictate where the football goes. Allow the defense to dictate where the football goes. When you allow talent to dictate where the football goes, now it leads to you forcing the football. The thing that has been marvelous to see from Daquavius Prescott in these last couple of weeks is how will he be able to manage and distribute the football? And he's been doing it off of the premise of the defense is in cover 2, I have to get to my check down if we got a shot call. Hey, the defense is in cover 3, let me give my guys an opportunity. Or they're in man-to-man, let me give my guys an opportunity. Hey, I'm hot, let me get to my check down. Those type of things, when you insert a CeeDee Lamb, his presence, his aura, his whole demeanor presents opposing threat, not just to defenders who's guarding him, but to the sideline when you look up and you say to yourself, man, it's been third quarter, and he only got 1 reception or 2 receptions. Those type of issues go through your mind as a quarterback, and I just would tell Dak to say, hey, lock in, bro. Keep doing what you've been doing. You got another Maserati inserted into your garage, but you've been doing a hell of a job with that one Rolls Royce and those doggone Priuses and doggone Excursions and Escalades. That's cool. They quality, and they've been giving you a lot, and that's what you would expect.
I think you have to allow both the defense and talent to dictate where the ball goes. And when Cam says the defense, he's saying you throw the football to where the defense's weaknesses are. But sometimes there are one-on-ones with George Pickens that are your matchup. That talent dictates that. There are going to be one-on-ones with CeeDee Lamb where talent dictates that. I said coming into the season that this was the second best wide receiver quarterback trio in all of football. And without Joe Flacco, with Joe Flacco replacing Joe Burrow, maybe number 1. CeeDee Lamb has to become a huge part of this offense immediately. George Pickens has already become a huge part of this offense in CeeDee Lamb's absence, but so has Fournette, so has Ferguson, so has Tolbert. This can be the most explosive passing game in all of football, and that's how they should approach this game. Last week, we watched the Carolina Panthers slow down Javonte Williams. That should not happen going forward because you're going to have to pay attention to the skilled players on the outside. Dak Prescott playing at an MVP level. And you know, Stephen A., you said it. This team has to score 30-plus points to win, and that's how they should attack.
Let me tell you what I'm surprised neither one of y'all brought up. The fact that George Pickens has been rolling so well, that CeeDee Lamb coming back, potentially taking opportunities away from him, targets away from him. Of course, that's a natural thing because CeeDee Lamb is your wide receiver number one. But the point is, who's to say that's not going to have an effect? I'm not casting aspersions on him. We all know the temperamental issues he was known to have in Pittsburgh for whatever reason. In my estimation, probably because he didn't have a quarterback like Dak Prescott throwing him the damn football. Okay, we get that part. The flip side to it is, nevertheless, approaching a contract year, balling out the way that he has, looking for his paper, like Cam pointed out, as individuals, looking for your paper. Why haven't we broached the possibility that CeeDee Lamb could have a potentially negative impact because it requires them to share, and how receptive is George Lynch going to be to, George Pickens going to be to that? I
just feel like only negative that can come from going or the addition to CeeDee Lamb is all ego.
I agree. That's what I'm talking about,
I'm
ego.
CeeDee and I'm seeing what George Pickens does and has been doing, knowing what I know about CeeDee,
he's a good brother.
He's excited because now, who you gonna double? Who you gonna focus on? Last night's game, perfect example. When Joe Flacco threw it to the middle of the field, I forget the receiver's name.
Yoshi.
When both of the safeties bracketed T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, hello, what do you do? He went to where the defense told him to go, right? When you have George Pickens on one side, then you have CeeDee Lamb on another side, what do you run?
Well, I will say this before going to go back. I'll give you the last word, RC, but I'll go to this. It helps that CeeDee Lamb got his money. If both of them were looking for their money, we'd have a problem. But the fact that CeeDee Lamb got his money, he can have that attitude because he can afford to, because he's getting his bag. Now you want your dude to get his bag.
Well, I think the big thing is, I love that Cam brought up T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase not only work well together, they got the same agent. Right? So you had the same person asking a team for multiple millions of dollars, and they got it done because T. Higgins wanted to stay there. Because he understands that there's going to be some fruit that falls from this tree or some shade that falls from this tree that eventually allows me to get in the sunshine. That's the same thing that can happen with CeeDee Lamb and also George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb needs to take targets away from Fournette and Tolbert and Ferguson, not necessarily George Pickens when the matchup is his.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Last word?
No, but yeah, I'll say that. Then when you see an athlete fighting for his contract or fighting for his career on his contract year, it's a different type of stress and opportunity. But George Pickens has been delightful to watch. As a fan and knowing him personally, it's been amazing to see his growth.
Brother can play.
No, for sure.
He's always been this talented, and if you ask anybody in Dallas, because I've asked the question, he's been a model citizen since arriving there.
Yeah, that's what happens when you got somebody to throw you the ball. This is simple. It's not complicated. It really isn't.